and I thought once again that I would make a um, sort of on stage. You have the television coming in, the camera coming in from afar to the to give you a close up of the individual. So a similar scenario here. Anyways, these are my um, questions for President Joe Biden, and I'm looking at Ms. Hillary Clinton, Ms. Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris. I'm looking at books, their books, and Kamala Harris's book has holes and is checked out from the library. The rest of them I had, but and somehow but because there's a feminist uh, women in Western society course being taught by the University of Toronto. So probably that's the reason that there are so n number of holes on Kamala Harris's all three books, the hard copy and the two e-copies, audio copy and e-book. So I bought myself a Kamala Harris book, and I had to do Barack Obama because I'm Hillary Clinton, and that would be too many women and not enough men. So there's Barack Obama, and I have, of course, Justin Trudeau's book and Common Ground, and yeah, I think um, I have some other political books about the World War II and that sort of thing, but not as I say, by a prime minister or a president. So, anyways, uh, this is my okay, my introduction for this for my side of the interview. I wrote an essay way back in 2012, and I'm yet to publish this essay actually, comparing Barack Obama's contributions of the Equal Pay for Equal Work, the Lilly Ledbetter Bill, and the Affordable Health Care Act, and Obamacare to Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and Martin Luther King Jr.'s contribution. Barack Obama showed the world that a black man could lead the country as well as a white man of equal intelligence and political talent. Then, after Donald Trump, came Joe Biden as president. So Donald Trump came after Barack Obama. Joe Biden's contributions, I said in another essay, sum up to that of the Mount Rushmore presidents. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Teddy Roosevelt, is it? I have written an essay on this. Yeah, Theodore Roosevelt and Abraham Lincoln. These are the Mount Rushmore presidents. And he's still showing the world that a white man um, uh, who was before he made it to president, second to Barack Obama, is matching up to the political genius of Barack Obama. I have an election tune for Joe Biden, who is not running for America Votes 2024. They say, old Joe, they say, old Joe, but Joe Biden says Quicksilver tongue. Joe Biden says Quicksilver tongue. They say Sleepy Joe, they say Sleepy Joe, but Joe Biden says it's a wake up call for America. 4 more years of Trumpism means American masochism. It's Kamala Harris who will bring the DA's work ethics matching Joe Biden's 34 years as a Delaware senator and 4 years as vice president and 4 years as president. So that's the tune I had. I shall look at two women first followed by the US presidents I have seen since I'm even considering George H.W. Bush because 92, I came February 92, February 14, I landed in Los Angeles from Bangalore with my husband, my newly wedded husband. Anyways, first, Hillary Clinton's hard choices Um, this is an excerpt from the book. Relations between nations are based on shared interests and values, but also on personalities. The personal element matters more in international affairs than many world than you would expect. Than many would expect for good or ill. Think of the famous friendship between Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher that helped win the Cold War, or the feud between Khrushchev and Mao that helped lose it. And it continues, but I and my and close quotes. Preston Biden, what is your crowning glory of achievement when dealing with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau? Is he as charming and at the same time driven as he looks? Um, that's the question I have. Two, the truths we hold, an American journey by Kamala Harris. Vice President Harris has said that her father used to make her listen to jazz musicians, Thelonious Monk, John Coltrane, and Miles Davis. Preston Biden, who are your favorite musicians? Do you like rock or jazz or simply classical? Three, classical is popular in work circles because I remember my own supervisor, Bradley Sewell, in the Department of Chem Eng at the University of Toronto, used to often play classical music. But in our labs, we used to have constantly rock playing, either Q107.1 for old geezers, as my friend put it, or Edge 102.1, which was very trendy then, but then they're also becoming old geezers. No, because it's been a while since my lab days. Three, The Quiet Man, the indispensable presidency of George H.W. Bush by his chief of staff, John Sununu. This is during election time, and I'm not sure which one because John Sununu talks about 1980 and then moves to this paragraph in the book. George H.W. Bush made ice fishing stops and did the snowy trek. And God forbid I have to do snowy treks beyond the Blue West Village or downtown Toronto using the subway as well. But President Biden, I'm a vegetarian and don't eat fish also. Do you do ice fishing and what kind of fish do you catch? Clownfish or rockfish or plain old salmon? If at all you do ice fishing. Uh, Salmon is what goes with fish and chips, I imagine. Clownfish is Nemo. It's kind of sad. He's spoken in his own book, Promise Me, Dad, You'll Be All Right, about Beau Biden's uh, child son. He was about 7 when his father was sick, 6 or 7 when his father was diagnosed with a tumor or cancer. I forget this detail. And so clownfish is like Nemo, Finding Nemo movie, and yeah, so that's that. Yeah, and then rockfish. Actually, the Globe and Mail had a very interesting picture. Is a fish with spikes, like a porcupine. That's a rockfish, but I don't think it's spiky. That's good. Maybe it's a misnomer. Anyways, so that's my question for President Biden here. But for Back to Work by Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton has written this book after his presidency, I beg your pardon, and during Barack Obama's years as president. Quote, in early March 2011, two professors at New York University's Stern School of Business, the Nobel Prize winners Michael Spence and his colleague Sandai Hlashwayo, released a fascinating study. The evolving structure of the American economy and the employment challenge. They found that almost all our job growth over the last several years had come in quote non-tradable unquote areas like government, healthcare, and other services like real estate and food services, while most of our income growth had come in quote tradable unquote areas like high-end manufacturing, where productivity increased more in the jobs big companies kept in the US as they moved more of the less productive jobs offshore. Some statistics here, and the only way to get out of this trap, as Spence and Hlashwayo say, is to increase the tradable sector of our economy. Close quotes. Preston Biden engineers increase productivity. I'd like to think engineers like me, once upon a time I did. Would you say that you created more jobs for engineers who in turn increase productivity in America? So that's my question. Fifth, decision points by George W. Bush. Mr. Bush talks movingly about the 9/11 attack of 2000, a terrorist attack of 2001 on the World Trade Center in New York City. He has said that this was the most devastating surprise attack since Pearl Harbor. President Biden, under your presidency, there were mass shootings and innocent people, even children, have been killed in these senseless attacks. Would you say that these mass shootings are inside acts of terrorism? Would you label these as inside acts of terrorism? Or what do you have to say, um, apart from the fact that guns should be, you know, the manufacture of I guess, gun possession and laws should change, etc. But that would be changing the American Constitution, I guess. So, your thoughts on it? Six, Barack Obama, Promised Land. I have a bookmark here. Read about Joe Biden. What Barack Obama had, as president, had to say about Joe Biden. There's quite a bit. But oh no, this is not it. All right. Joe, he begins with that he Joe Biden is 19 years Barack Obama's senior and 35 years in the Senate. I got this wrong. I thought 34 years in the Senate as a senator from Delaware. In his Joe Biden took pride in his working class Irish heritage. All right, there's a lot of it. I'm just picking and choosing. Joe's enthusiasm had its downside. In a town filled with people who liked to hear themselves talk, he had no peer. The speech was scheduled for 15 minutes. Joe went for at least half an hour. It was scheduled for half an hour. There was no telling how long he might talk. His soliloquies during committee hearings were legendary. His lack of a filter periodically got him in trouble, as when during the primaries. He had pronounced me articulate and bright and clean and a nice looking guy, a phrase surely meant as a compliment, but interpreted as by some as suggesting that such characteristics in a black man were noteworthy. Well, I guess some people nitpick, I guess, but I don't know. You put yourself in their shoes, and but it's an interesting distinction. It's accurate, articulate, and bright and clean, and a nice-looking guy. As I came to know Joe, though, I found his occasional gaffes to be trivial compared to his strengths. On domestic issues, he was smart, practical, and did his homework. His experience in foreign policy was broad and deep. During his relatively short lived run in the primaries, he had impressed me with his skill and discipline as a debater and his comfort on the national stage. Most of all, Joe had heart. And there's a lot more. I'll let you enjoy it in the book. My question, President, President Biden, as president, now, did you change the few negatives Mr. Obama has listed? Or, or do you think they're your strengths at this time? I mean, sometimes weaknesses can become strengths. It depends on what situation you are, what situation you're dealing with. Lastly, Donald J. Trump. I will read you. I will play a Matthew Arnold's three line. Oh, this is about Donald Trump. It's, start going back. Okay, this way. All right, all right, all right. Okay, there's more of his rhetoric, but he's he said military. All right. So my question, President Biden, as Vice President, you agree to the American military being the dominant force in both Iraq and Afghanistan. You objected to the Iraq war, but remained silently loyal to Barack Obama's decision to stay in Iraq. As president, one of the first acts you did soon after, after I think it was 6 months into the presidency, you pulled the US Army out of Afghanistan. Please comment because since then, the US military, unless I've missed something, has not charged to save the lives of any country in trouble. Actually, Prime Minister Trudeau here has sent to Latvia, has sent the Canadian Army to Latvia to preserve peaceful, a uh, peaceful state of affairs and protect the people and his he also sent the Canadian military to Mali where they were successful, but they came back and then the military took over again in Mali, the Mali military. So there was a democracy installed, but that kind of was a futile mission, so to speak. So your thoughts on it, please. So that is all I have for this evening, and thank you. And may the Democrats win. I'm in blue.